The Roaring Twenties, it was an iconic period in American history. And in the popular imagination, it was a time of speakeasies and flappers, gangsters and tycoons, Tommy guns and bootleg liquor. Now, all the things we associate with this period ultimately boil down to that grand but ultimately doomed experiment in American law, the 18th Amendment, otherwise known as Prohibition, which prohibited the manufacture, transportation, and sale of intoxicating liquor across the country. The law proved almost unenforceable from day one. And in places like New York City, the ban led not only to the proliferation of speakeasies and bootlegging, but also to widespread corruption and organized crime. The era and Prohibition's impact on American society is the subject of Drinks, Crime, and Prohibition, a two-part documentary airing on the Smithsonian Channel. The first episode, Flappers and Bootleggers, premieres tonight. Here's a preview.
And these were young, single, working women, urban women in cities like New York who wanted to relax at night. And they were these very flamboyant figures who dressed in a very new way, wore cosmetics and smoked and drank, and suddenly took charge of their romantic lives in ways that women before them had not done.
Instead of drinking less, Americans are finding new ways to get their booze. This isn't what the prohibitionists had in mind.
And joining us now is Peter Liebhold, curator at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History and one of the experts on Prohibition featured in the documentary. Peter, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
So, Peter, the loving relationship between alcohol and Americans goes way back. In fact, it goes back to before Americans were Americans. In the documentary, we learn that the soldiers in George Washington's army were given beer as part of their ration. How do we get from that to a national ban on all alcohol?
Well, the road to prohibition is really a fascinating one. Americans definitely like to drink a lot. Drinking early in the 1800s was quite high. It had dropped down. But by the late 1800s, a new type of drinking was taking place. Instead of drinking distilled beverages like whiskey, people were starting to drink beer because it was immigrants that were coming in. And beer consumption increased between 1850 and 1890 tremendously. It went up 24-fold. So it was really a new set of drinkers that were coming to the country.
All right. So what was the alliance that got together in order to push for prohibition, and what were the catalysts that led to it besides the increase of beer consumption?
Well, that's what's really fascinating about this story, and what the Smithsonian likes to do is to sort of peel back and tell you a story that you think you know, and there's so much more to it. The alliance was crazy. It was a very odd group of people. It was industrialists who wanted a sober workforce. It was suffragettes that were looking for being at the table, being able to do something. It was temperance forces. And most importantly, it was an anti-immigrant movement.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I think that's a big surprise.
Also, I was surprised that the documentary says, employers wanted to close down saloons because that's where workers got together to form unions and to organize politically. Fascinating. So how long did it take for criminals and other enterprising Americans to realize that this was a golden economic opportunity?
Well, the bootleggers were all in favor of prohibition. They really gave money to the dry candidates to make sure that it would stay on. Over time, it became much more organized, and the smaller bootleggers got pushed out, and it became a big business. In any business, you certainly want to be competitive and push out your competition, but with bootlegging, since it was an illegal business, you could resort to violent means. And so things like the Thompson submachine gun was used. It was a very expensive weapon, but good for a sort of poorly trained workforce.
You could just mow down anybody. You didn't have to aim.
That's right.
So what are the legacies? Are there legacies that still linger of the Prohibition era? And if so, what are they?
Well, I think there are a tremendous number of legacies. I mean, first, the most obvious is that it's very difficult to ban something that people really want. This was one of the major changes in the United States, becoming a punitive state. It was a social experiment that failed, and it was trying to punish the people. And that was a change in government philosophy that really
never went away.
It never went away, right? That's one of the arguments about this. This is that when we have the rise of the penal state, and rather than educating people, trying to motivate people to make a change, people were thrown into jail. So that has continued on. One of the other big lessons is that there are lots of loopholes. That during Prohibition, people continued to drink. In the beginning, maybe there was a pretty big drop, but by the end of Prohibition, it was almost back up to where it was before. And people were drinking sacramental wine. They were drinking medicinal whiskey. They were drinking industrial alcohol. They were smuggling.
Yeah, which was killing them. Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining us. It's really been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks a lot.
Flappers and Bootleggers Part 1 of the Smithsonian Channel's two-part documentary series, Drinks, Crimes, and Prohibition, airs tonight at 8 on the Smithsonian Channel. For more information, you can go to our website at metrofocus.org.